Hato, Semenyo, Mbeumo, Kerkez, Huijsen at DM, maybe a Trent replacement, a couple young names from South America. We're starting to get a little bit of information about Liverpool's transfer ambitions for Arne Slot. And I have a feeling that Liverpool will spend a bit of money this summer. They didn't really spend last summer unless you count Marmadashvili and Chiesa, who came on very cheaply. They've not spent so far in January, and I'm not sure if they will spend in January. There's a couple rumours, but I think Liverpool are preparing and waiting for the summer. But it's very obvious that with the Van Dijk, Salah, Trent situation, and obviously the fact that Arne Slot wants a winger, wants a DM, wants a Matip replacement, the Liverpool are going to spend in the summer window. They're going to spend in 2025, and we're going to break down everything we know about the plans for Arne Slot. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the players that credible sources are saying Liverpool are in for. So, first of all, what do Liverpool need, in my opinion? They need a left back or a left centre back, left back type player. So, like, obviously, Calafiore was one. Obviously gone to Arsenal. Hato can play left back, left centre back. It can be a 2-in-1 signing, or you get a Kerkez, and then you get more of a natural left-sided centre back player. But Hincapie, Pacho, who were linked with in the summer, Hato, all natural sort of left back, left centre back players. If you're talking left centre back, there's people like Levi Colwill, I think was actually rumoured to go to Liverpool at one point, but I don't think there was much credibility in that. Need a DM for more rest for Gravenberg. I think Endo's always really good and always really solid when he comes on, but Slot's still reluctant to start him in those bigger games. And also, I think Gravenberg's best role is still number 8, as good as he's been at 6. Nunez, I think, could potentially go in the summer. Looked a lot better lately, but I think he could potentially go. And you're going to need a right back if Trent leaves. Now, what do Liverpool want? What do we actually know? Well, Liverpool want a winger. There was the Kvaratskhelia links, the Anthony Gordon links. They were very reliable. You brought Chiesa in the end, but you're still going for Kvaratskhelia. You're still looking at him. You've been linked to Semenyo. You've been linked to Mbeumo. I'm going to get into the news on that. I'm going to talk about why that could be a really good addition. Also, there's news that was reported by someone credible behind the scenes who I cannot name. It's not been reported publicly. That's Mbeumo was seen as the ideal Salah replacement, and that if Klopp had stayed, they may have moved for Mbeumo because Klopp was a big fan of him. So it'd be interesting to see if Slot's a big fan of him, because we know Liverpool like him. Obviously, Richard Hughes, the Bournemouth link, Semenyo. We're going to talk about that in a second. Liverpool want left-sided defenders. It's very obvious. You were linked to Pacho last summer, Hincapie last summer. You've been linked to Hato now. It's very obvious Liverpool want left-sided defenders. Matip's left. Robertson's on his way out. You've been linked to Robinson. You've been linked to Kerkez. Whether you bring in a left centre-back, left-back hybrid or two, it'll be interesting to see. And then DM, Subamende seems Arsenal bound. You did want Subamende. We're going to talk about the Subamende alternative. So in today's video, we're going to tell you everything you need to know about Liverpool's transfer ambitions. Now, obviously, Hato was spotted at the Liverpool game. It's fueled rumours. And normally when a player's linked to Liverpool, the journalists come out and they say Liverpool are not interested in that player. Now, out of all the clubs, if you follow Man United, if you follow Arsenal, you'll know that you get so much this and that about Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, this, that. But Liverpool, I think, is a club that they know what journalists to trust. They know that, the information doesn't really come out until Liverpool are really in for a player. They're not linked to everyone to the extent that United, I think Arsenal and Chelsea are. But Liverpool are interested in Hato. Now, Mike Verwey has confirmed this. It's not just because Hato was at Anfield because he's friends with Gravenberg. Liverpool are interested in Hato. Now, Arsenal were trying to sign Hato last year. Ajax wouldn't let him go. Arsenal went for Calafiore, so they're not backing for Hato. Mike Verwey is, for me, the best journalist in the Netherlands. So when we brought in Erik ten Hag, because he's got very good connections to Ajax, everything that he said about Jurriën Timber to United, Romano and Ornstein would say the next day. When he said the deal was off, later on it was confirmed by Romano and Ornstein. The Sandro Martinez, he was the first to confirm it. It was then later confirmed by Romano and Ornstein, Anthony, etc. Mike Verwey, when it comes to Ajax news, best source of information out there. Very credible journalist, and he is saying that Liverpool are certainly interested in Hato. The interest has been confirmed. The Telegraph said that Hato made it clear that he will not leave in January, so this isn't a January move. Liverpool and Real Madrid are monitoring him very closely, and he was in Liverpool this weekend because Gravenberg invited him. Now, with Slot being Dutch, with Gravenberg, with Van Dijk, with Gakpo, Liverpool do have some Dutch pull. Real Madrid are also interested, but I think Real Madrid are going to go for Huijsen with his release clause, Spanish as well. And I think Liverpool will get Hato in the summer because there's a lot of rumours as well behind the scenes that Liverpool are interested. We also know that Bournemouth stars, Sabarini, Kerkez, Semenyo, Huijsen are all being monitored by Chelsea, Newcastle and Liverpool. Obviously, Richard Hughes brought a lot of these players to Bournemouth in the first place. Of course, he's going to have interest. I mean, Huijsen, Kerkez, Semenyo, I mean, they all make a lot of sense. It was also said that Liverpool are considering using Ben Doak in a deal for Semenyo. Bournemouth reportedly values Semenyo at 50 million. Liverpool would ideally not want to pay that kind of fee in this month's window, but this could be one for the summer. Again, I don't know if Liverpool could do anything for January. I think they're preparing for the summer. I think Liverpool are a team that they probably should step up and spend a bit and bring someone in. But Liverpool, and one thing I will admire about Liverpool's transfer strategy, and this is coming from a Man United fan that's seen us drop 72 million on Højlund, 85 million on Antony when Elise was there for 35 million. And I was literally saying that 2 years ago as well. We dropped 60 million on Mount with 1 year left on this contract. You know, if Liverpool can't get the player they want at the right price, they'll walk away. If they're not sure, they'll walk away. Whereas United then panic buy, overspend, or then go and get an alternative that isn't as good. Liverpool always act on opportunities. Kvaratskhelia, they thought, really good player. Maybe wing isn't a priority, but 60 million for a really good player. Look at it. Anthony Gordon, if you can get him, look at it. They couldn't get Anthony Gordon. They're not going to go out and just sign a winger for the sake of it. You know, they look at the price, they look at that. And I think that frustrates Liverpool fans, but that's something they've done right. Now, I don't think they will move to Semenyo in January. I don't think Bournemouth are going to sell in January. But again, this could be one to watch in the summer. And I'm going to talk about Semenyo in more detail in a second. I'm going to talk about Hato in more detail in a second. But as you can see with Semenyo, one of the best ball carriers and progressive runs, players for progressive runs in football. I can see why he'd fit the system. Now, Liverpool have been watching Mbeumo and Semenyo. We obviously know about Mbeumo. I spoke about that. Jurgen Klopp was a big fan of Mbeumo. That was very much known behind the scenes. He is seen as maybe a Salah replacement. It will be interesting to see what happens there. But I want to talk about the players that Liverpool are linked with, and I want to talk about why I think that Liverpool getting Jorrel Hato makes sense. I think this deal will happen. The Dutch links, the connection. I think Liverpool are going to get this guy because Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards, while, you know, FSG's tight and Liverpool could have done better in the summer, they, you know, I know they went for Supermende and Gordon, and I get that. Maybe actually don't buy anyone if you can't get the guy you want. And I think that's paid off for them because where Slot's at. But you can't deny that Richard Hughes, what he done at Bournemouth, Michael Edwards, you know, built the Klopp, the tight winning side. They're very good at picking out good signings and good players. And Hato makes so much sense. And of course, he's going to be on the eye of them. Now, Hato is a left-footed left centre-back, capable of playing as inverted left-back, probably could play as a normal left-back as well, plays left-back for Ajax at the moment. Last season, he played more at left centre-back. This season, he's been playing more left back. Now, what stands about Hato for me is he's got the physical, technical, and mental qualities. And when you're signing a player that's young, can they mentally do it? Have they got the IQ? Tick. Can they physically do it in the Premier League? Tick. Can they technically do it in the system? Tick. And that is what you get with Hato. 6 foot tall, really good in terms of winning his aerial duels, very comfortable defending in the wide channels, very good in the 1v1 situations, and he's physically and mentally very mature for his age. He's the youngest ever captain of Ajax, I believe, the second youngest player to represent the Netherlands in the last 80 years, and he's known for his work ethic, football IQ, and adaptability to play as a traditional left back, an inverted left back, a left centre back, played in midfield at times. He's been compared to Jurrien Timber, who's had a really good season at Arsenal as well. So let me tell you a little bit about Hato. He's very technically secure, press resistant, and reliable in possession. Arne Slot wants players that are good in possession, that he can rely in possession, can rely in tight spaces, rely playing out from the back. Possession plays really key for Arne Slot. You look at Gravenberch. Gravenberch plays DM over Endo because of how good Gravenberch is in terms of press-resistant tight spaces. And Hato has that Ajax trait in him. Of course, Slot's going to like that. He's probably watched them in the Eredivisie. Fantastic. When it comes to playing out from the back, passing tight spaces, he's brilliant. But since he's moved to left back, he actually ranks first in the Eredivisie for carries. He can really get the ball at the pitch, which Arne Slot likes, sort of that kind of movement. He can provide overlapping runs. He can also underlap as well. He can also invert into midfield roles. He gives Slot a lot of versatility. Now, one thing I've praised Arne Slot for is I think when it was going wrong for Pep, he didn't change it. When it was going wrong for Arteta, he didn't change it. When it was going wrong for Ten Hag, he didn't change it. When Slot changes his tactics in so many games, even Ipswich half-time, he changed the tactic. Brighton half-time, he changes the tactic. Makes tactical changes in the game versus Southampton. Slot is always making tactical changes to the role of a player. Like some games, Trent will first half he's inverting, and then the second half he's a wide overlapping fullback. And Hato would give Liverpool the versatility to do that. He's compared to Nathan Ake and Jurrien Timber because of his ability to defend out wide. A very good sort of 1v1 wide channel defender. To be honest, I would like him at Manchester United because Man United play a back three, and I think we need a wide centre back that can defend the channels. He brings a bit more physicality than Martinez. I'd like him to go to Man United. Man United might offer him more wages than Liverpool. Maybe that's how we get him, but I do think you'll look at Slot, the stability of Liverpool, and I think that Liverpool would beat us to Hato. His retention and press resistant is very suited to Arne Slot's style. He's flexible enough to adapt to in-game tactics. It says key feature under Klopp, but I meant slot. I just must have had a brain fart there, as I was touching upon earlier. Physicality, pace, and aerial strength make him Premier League ready. There's always the talk about the physicality. He's physical, he's fast, he can defend the wide channels well, and interestingly, he can still be registered as homegrown. Offers long-term solution with immense potential. I think Anthony Robinson would be a really good Robertson replacement, but there's talk about Anthony Robinson being 28 years of age. The engine on Anthony Robinson is incredible. Cost-wise, 30 million as well. Liverpool know if there's a good player with good potential with the technical attributes for the right price, they will go for it. Now, another player Liverpool is linked to is Semenyo. I don't know how reliable Assam_LFC is, but obviously Liverpool have been linked to Semenyo, and he says, I think Antoine Semenyo is a genuine target for Liverpool, one to keep an eye on. A lot of people have been talking about this lately, and if you know me, I'm a big fan of Semenyo. I said Semenyo would be a better signing than Nico Williams, lower wages, powerful carrier, physicality, technically good, Premier League proven. This is what I said a couple of weeks ago. And this was one in regards to Manchester United, but Nico Williams hasn't been that great for Bilbao when I've watched him this season. He was great last season, but when you look at the wages Nico Williams on, the goal and assist numbers he got this season, but actually his all-round play, he's not been great for Athletic Bilbao. There's no difference this season between Garnacho and Nico Williams. Really good, promising season last year, direct, really important winger. This season, not quite been at their best. There's no difference, but he plays in a foreign league. He's got that hype. He's got the PR. I think the PR around players online massively changed people's perception. Nico Williams is a fancier name than Semenyo. Semenyo this season has had a better season. And I will say this now. I said Semenyo, what a player, a ball carrier with pace, power, and real athleticism. His ability to drive at defenders and create is outstanding. It really is. He's a very clever player in terms of his movement, linking up with teammates. I actually think he'd do well under Amran at wing-back, but could also play as 10 because he's comfortable in the pockets. Again, of course, I'm always talking about United, but I'm going to talk about Semenyo and what a player he is. He's versatile. I would describe him as an engine, a carrier, a worker, and a versatile player. One of the most two-footed players in football. As you can see here, very, very versatile. Left wing, right wing. Liverpool want a winger. I don't think it's a priority, but Liverpool want a winger. The Kvaratskhelia links, the Anthony Gordon links. I know Chiesa is coming, but you were still looking at them. And maybe that's because they're not going to renew Salah, which would be ridiculous. I mean, has it been renewed yet? Because I see on Twitter that a deal is done, but I don't know if they're reliable sources. I think they're like clickbait. Is the Salah Van Dijk deal done yet? Because I think I heard it was close to being. I don't know if it's done. I should probably know that, actually. You tell me. Semenyo, explosive player with exceptional pace and power. His ball striking is outstanding. The power he can get on the ball striking. You see the goals he scored for Bournemouth this season. The goal against Chelsea, the goal against Forest. Really good. But he's an explosive player. When you're talking pace, when you're talking power, when you're talking work rate, that's what Arne wants. He demands a lot of his wingers. He's an explosive player. He's two-footed. He's versatile. He can cross, dribble, and shoot with either foot, which makes him unpredictable. We're talking actually today in my Man United live stream on my other channel. That Laurie Whitwell, who's a really good journalist for The Athletic, said that the Man United scouts have been watching Anthony since he was 15 and wrote down that he was too predictable. And we still signed Anthony because Murto and Arnold didn't listen to the scouts because Man United are idiots in the transfer window, as I've said. But this guy's so two-footed, which makes him really unpredictable. He can dribble effectively, he can shoot, he can cross. And one thing you know is he will support his fullback. When it comes to intensity, when it comes to work rate, when it comes to just pure athletic levels, this guy is top. Of course, you want the technical levels, but he's got the technical levels. He's good in the tight spaces. With Semenyo, the negatives are there is inconsistency. So there's inconsistencies in Semenyo's game. And that's the one thing you got to look at. I would compare him most to Luis Diaz in the sense of sometimes he can be really good. Sometimes he can do a lot of running and a lot of dribbling, a lot of work, but there can be inconsistencies in terms of the end product. But I do think he's a really good player. He can be really effective for you in transitions. Obviously, Klopp was more transition-based, but he's very good at, Slot isn't as transition-based as Klopp, but he's very good in the tight spaces, can allow you to break down the low block. And what he has, and I think this is what I was talking about. I was talking about why Liverpool are top and not Arsenal. Liverpool have a Salah that could not have the best game, but he can score that goal. He can, create something out of nothing. They have Gakpo who can come and score clutch goals. Arsenal don't have that. Martinelli doesn't really score clutch goals. Havertz can't even score tap-ins at the moment. Sterling's not going to do that. Odegaard doesn't score. Odegaard's got one non-penalty goal in the last year. In the league, I think, or since March. So it's not a year yet. But Semenyo is one of those guys, because of his ball streak and because of his unpredictability, he can also score those clutch goals, which can win you games. But he's a flexible, adaptable player, and I think he's a very good player. And this was an interesting thing on Semenyo I saw. Antoine Semenyo has been on fire for Bournemouth this season with 10 goal contributions and standout performances. But here's the twist. He claims to be one of the most two-footed players in the Premier League. He is. He's up there. And when I think two-footed players, I think Son, I think De Bruyne is quite two-footed, Mason Greenwood, but this Semenyo definitely two-footed. In a recent interview, Semenyo said, "I've dribbled more with my left foot than my right this season. It's nice to know when I'm on the ball, defenders don't know where I'm going. Two-footed players are a game changer, versatile, unpredictable, and a nightmare for defenders to train effective." And Semenyo has now got 10 goal contributions in 2 consecutive seasons. He's learning, he's growing. The output might not be crazy numbers, but when you're at Liverpool, the output is expected to come up. And Mbeumo, in terms of output, is better, and Mbeumo is a better player. If you're replacing Salah, and Mbeumo, the better player, probably for sure, better output, more Salah-esque. But if Salah stays and you want that other option, and they do sell Luis Diaz, who's been linked to sales, I don't know if he'll go, I don't think he will. Semenyo gives that versatility there. Now, obviously, you went for Subamende. He looks to be going to Arsenal. I think the links to Arteta and Basque and that. Now, Wharton, been poor this season, but slowly improving. Bruno Guimaraes, probably be priced out of that. Tonali, you'd probably be priced out of that. Newcastle probably are not going to do that. And if Newcastle get Champions League, I can't see them leaving. Varela could be an option, but Stiller is probably the best Subamende alternative out there. This is what I wrote about him in summer when it said Liverpool wanted the DM. I said that will go Liverpool. Sorry, coughing fit there. When it was revealed in summer, the Liverpool wanted a DM, but no one knew who they wanted. Subamende and Stiller were the two I mentioned of. I think they'll be the ones that Slot's looking at, and it was Subamende. So I think if it's not Subamende, it'd be Stiller. Now, he's very good under pressure, in tight spaces, building out from the back, which is why Gravenberch plays over Endo. This could allow Gravenberch to play as an 8. I wouldn't be shocked if Liverpool went in for Stiller. I would not be shocked in the slightest. Either City as well. And then there's obviously talk about Trent, Real Madrid, contract. I think if something happens with Trent, I think you get a right back. I think Liverpool are looking at wing. I think they're looking at left-sided defenders. And I think they're looking at DM. I think if something happens with Trent, they'll look at right back. And I think if something happens with Núñez, they'll look at strikers. Maybe you look at Cunha for the striker or João Pedro, or do you go for a more traditional striker like a Sesko? I'm not sure. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.